Yorkie Pokies, he's at multiple tables. He's a little looser than what your normal regs are. But he's not like a maniac or anything. It's actually a little bit close, and I definitely lean towards folding here. Most likely like slightly bad reshove spot, because generally in 9-mans you need you know, stronger value hands, or like ace-10 and 6s plus type of value range, or you need a person opening much wider, like in the neighborhood of like opening 40% and calling like 10 to 15% or whatever, or more like, actually that's not even true, 40% and calling like 10 or less, to make shoving wider ranges even an option. And that includes hands like, you know, 7-8 suited, small pairs, and even king, queen, king, jack, just because you're not going to get called by weaker, so you're basically just playing your hand as a bluff still. Although it is a hand that doesn't get dominated as often as some hands, therefore it's not, like I said, it's probably kind of close, but we'll go ahead and mark it and do some fun analysis on that later. Would have liked a bigger bet here. If you have a flush on a straight board like that, people are going to suspect that you are trying to bluff people off of a chop. So there's definitely, I think, a lot of value in you know, beefing up your bet size. You know, closer to pot, and against some players you can even just ship it in. Not going to be defending 4-7. Though I don't really like to hit the check fold button too much, so I'll just wait, just in case the small blind limps or other players limp. We don't have to tell everyone how weak we are. He does limp, and I don't like raising against this type of opponent either, just because he's probably going to be calling every single raise, or just about every single raise. Check calls 10-9-7, so he's not super strong here, but I suspect he's going to have some 8x, 7x, 9x, jack x, and maybe some other like random king high type stuff. So it'd be a thin value bet on the turn, and I choose to just check down. He bets the river, which obviously is representing more of like a 9x type of range. There are a few hands though that he could be bluffing with here, but I'm going to go ahead and let him have it. It's not a huge factor at this stage of the tournament, but it is worth mentioning that against the bigger stack, you're going to be, let me go ahead and shove a6 here. Against the bigger stack, you're going to have a worse bubble factor, and you're going to need better odds on average, and the chips that you win from him are worth less than chips you can win somewhere else. So a lot of times if you get into just sort of a thin spot, thin turns into like easy fold, and decent spot turns into like thin, and basically, you know, again, we're not going to memorize bubble factors in game and be able to calculate them in game, but when you have someone has that much of a bigger stack than us, and we have you know, are we second in chips? Yeah. Such a healthy stack as we have, it's really best to just keep pots small and avoid thin spots as much as possible. A player like that's also going to give us just so many plus EV opportunities, most likely, that we can also just talk about the basic tournament strategy, Skalansky style, which is look for better, more plus EV spots, because they will come up.